What's up YouTube? This is my cubic deck profile. I took this to regionals and I got 5 wins, 3 losses, and I didn't participate in the last round because we had a family emergency. But let's get straight into it. So for starters, you got 3 Duzas, or not 3 Duzas, 3 Crimson Novas. Now we're going into 3 Duzas. Pretty simple. This is the searcher of the deck. I run 3 Yugiohs. A lot of people run 1. I run 3 because of the burn damage and it's really easy to get out. And a lot of times this came in clutch in my matches. I run 3 Cubic Seeds. Really good defensive card. And it's really good for negating your opponent's monster's effect and stops them in the trail. I run 2 Busters, really good for the floating effect and also searching any card, your cubic card. This is really good. 1 Dragony King. I just pretty much have him in here for the name, and I only got him out 1 time for the burn damage. 1 Blade Garudium. Again, another card for the name. Never really summoned it, but it's a good card though. It can attack twice. Then we got 2 Summoner Monks. Really good for searching out Duza and pitching one of your cubic cards, like Karma or Unification. 1 Maxi. Used to have it at 2 before the ban list, but now it's at 1. And onto the spell cards. We got 3 Cubic Karmas. Really good card. I was able to utilize it for both effects, for increasing my monster's attack. Usually either Duza if I brick or Crimson Nova. And I was, not very often, but I was able to resolve that effect quite a bit. And also having my opponent's life points by special summoning my Cubic Seeds from the grave. And of course, the searcher effect to get out Crimson Nova. Or if you don't have Crimson Nova, then you get Duza and then you get Crimson Nova that way. I run 3 Cubic Waves. I've used this like crazy in the tournament for negating my opponent's effects and also stopping their monster from attacking. Also doubling my Crimson Nova or whoever I had on the field, like Buster. I was able to special summon him and double his attack, and he just attacked 3 times per game. To search those cubic spells out, I got 3 Foolish Burial Goods. Really good card. Then to the 1 Reasoning. Really good. Came in clutch a few times. Pitching all my spell cards, cubic spells in the grave, and then searching out Nova. 1 Soul Charge. Really good. I got Solemned a couple times, summoning Duza, and then I just played this, special summon back my Duza, and I was able to keep going with my plays. So a really good card to have in this deck. For back row, I run 2 Twin Twister. I did have this at 3. Started breaking a little bit, so 2 I think for my deck is the best way to go. Then we got, to round it all off, 2 Hand Destructions. I was thinking about running it at 3. I don't see it that often, but when I do, it makes plays. Pitches your cubic cards that you need in the graveyard. That's it for the spell cards. Onto the traps. I run 3 Unification of the Cubic Lords. I was able to actually use its polymerization effect 1 time. Really good monster. They can't really get over it, except if they try to kaiju it. Really good for its floating effect. Special summon a monster from your deck, and then on top of that, that monster can't be destroyed by battle or anything like that. So for that turn, I run 1 Storming and 1 Quaking. Really good defensive battle traps. Came in clutch a few times. Really good. And 1 Cubic Rebirth. A lot of people run 2, maybe 3. I run 1. I just haven't been here for the name. You don't really use it for its effect. It did come up one time against fluffals. So this came in handy, but other than that, not so much. On to the extra. I run, of course, one Trinity, really good card. If you can ever get her out, but which is very, very early. I run one Gustav Max, one Superdora. I was able to make these a couple of times, but not so much. Usually when you summon Nova, you usually finish your opponent off in that turn. One Castell, good card, came in clutch a couple times. One Utopia. I am getting Lightning soon, so that'll be added into my deck. You know, one Prime, one Diamond Direwolf, good card as well. I run number 105 Battling Boxer. It's actually is a really good card. Its effect is during either player's battle step, if a Battling Boxer you control, meaning this XYZ monster, battles an opponent's monster, you can attach one XYZ material from this card, negate the effects of the monster until the end of the turn. That monster you control cannot be destroyed by that battle. Also, your opponent takes any damage you would have taken from that battle. So it's really good to flip the switch on your opponent if they're attacking you with a higher monster. You can negate their effects, and also your opponent takes that damage. So it's just one way to burn your opponent defensively. Then you got one Steel Swarm Roach, pretty good card too. Stops your opponent from special summoning level 5 or higher. Thunderspark Dragon came up a few times, really good card. Then you've got one Shark Drake, came up a couple times, pretty good too, can attack twice. And reborn your opponent's monster and decrease it by 1,000, you can attack again, so it's really good. One Black Ship of Corn, this is good for burn damage. Other than that, pretty good. Other than that, but one Gigan X came up a few times to search out your Duzas and just keep your combo plays going. One Antitopian. I'm thinking about taking this out and sighting in for another XYZ Embodiment of Crime. It's really good. And last, number 54, Lionheart. This is good for when you have the cubic seeds. If you somehow special summon all three, which I did a few times, you can go ahead and XYZ into this guy. And this guy's effect is if your opponent attacks this monster, your opponent will take all the battle damage you would have from that battle. Also, this can't be destroyed by battle. So you can attack your opponent and then activate its effect and burn your opponent for extra, damage. If you couldn't finish him off with Nova, or if you don't have Nova at the time, it's just one way to get the game going. Then on to my side, I run, and I'm still experimenting with the side. I didn't really go into it too much, but I hardly needed it. But I run two Ghost Ogres, good for obvious reasons. I run one Jar of Avarice for recycling cards. Instead of Reoccurring Nightmare, I figured maybe this would be the best way to go. For me, for my personal play style. 2 lost wins, and I wasn't running this before, but because of the Cubic Waves effect in the graveyard, you can banish your Cubic Wave and then negate monsters' effects on the field. But this is also a good way to stall your opponent as well. One Trap Stun for the back row. One Trap Jammer, go for the back row. One Magical Cylinder, really good card to turn the tides on the match and give you the extra damage so you can win the match. 2 Dark Holes. Let's see. One Pot of Dichotomy is good for recycling as well. And these cards right here, I'm debating whether or not to leave them in here. I got one Retaliating Sea and one Flying Sea. Their effects are really good. For example, Flying Sea prevents your opponent from special summoning from XYZ summoning, and this one prevents your opponent from, well, that doesn't prevent, but if your opponent special summons by using a spell card, you can use this guy's effect to special summon to your opponent's field, and every card from that point on gets banished instead of sent to the graveyard. So it's really good for your opponent to, to disrupt your opponent's plays. And also, if they destroy your retaliating C, then you can also search for your flying C from your deck to your hand, so you can add another play on top of that, or you can get a max C, so you can keep drawing. Then one Swords of Concealing Light came up a few times in a duel and was actually helped me win the game until I got Nova out. And then one Enemy Controller. I'm thinking about bumping it up to 3 and then taking out a couple of my side cards. And my record was 5-3. I didn't participate in the last round, but I went against Invoked Zoo, Pure Zoo. I went up against Kaijus, Infernoids, Fluffals, and Invoked Windwitch, Zoo Invoked. I won every one of those matches except against Paleo and also against Infernoids. That was a mess. That was a hot mess. But other than that, Invoked Windwitch and all those other meta decks, actually, this Cupid deck fared really, really well. OTK'd my opponent in 1 turn in the majority. So it was a really good deck. And that is it.